Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Ryan Gavalier back to the show. We are continuing our Cheap Trick series. Now we're up to 1990, and we are looking at the album Busted. So without any further ado, let's get this one started. Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight Ryan Gavalier's back in the house, and tonight we are looking at Cheap Trick's 1990 album Busted. Mr. Gavalier, how are you? Nice to see you.
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, I wish, Ryan, I wish I could complain, but I can't.
Yeah, I feel that.
We keep pushing on, but everything's good with you? Working on
some
new music? That's what I've heard.
Tons, man. I'm pretty much recording every single day for multiple hours. Some days more like 8-10 hours, some days like 5 hours. Then I'm doing lots of mixing, learning all kinds of new techniques. I've got some new equipment. I have a new EP coming out probably in a couple of days now. And then I have like a ton of other stuff that I'm recording to release.
Wow. Well, good. I mean, it's your passion. What can you say,
For sure. Thank you.
We'll be looking forward to seeing D. Gunther said, Busted Ugh. I don't know. We're going to listen to it. We're going to talk about it. I mean, we're going through the whole catalog, Finally, Ryan and I have been doing this show for a year. It's been like a year. And we're finally up to 1990. But we're going to... I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what Ryan's going to say. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. So, but we're going to get started. Busted was the 11th studio album. This was the last album for Epic. So after that, I don't believe anything's been on a major label except maybe the last record that came out. I think that was on Universal, but I don't think they've had anything on a major label since. But thank God that this is the end of the Epic era, because the Epic era started wonderfully great and then it ended just horribly horrible. But this album came out after Lap of Luxury. And, of course, everyone knows we looked at Lap of Luxury the last time and it was it had the flame, big hits, crappy album, but it was better than The Doctor. Correct, Ryan? It was better than The Doctor.
I think I like The Doctor a little bit more.
Okay. All right.
If I remember correctly, all that Lap of Luxury really had for me is the flame. Other than that, I don't even remember anything off of it from the last time I listened to it.
I know.
It's so boring.
Well, this was
I don't remember anything from The Doctor either. Honestly, I can't believe how bad this band started to shit the bed after a while. They went from being one of the best bands in the 70s to one of the worst in the 80s.
Well, it's one of those things, we've talked about Aerosmith before. They are one of those bands that, the record company got involved with them, outside writers. It's the same thing. Heart, Cheap Trick, Aerosmith, but Aerosmith was able to, I mean, whether you like that material or not, they were able to put out great stuff still.
Aerosmith had a heart. And even if they had outside songwriters, Steven Tyler can make you think he wrote the song.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with this album, is it okay if I just start to go into my review? Because it kind of segues perfectly, honestly.
All right.
The problem with this album and the problem with Lap of Luxury is neither of them, other than the flame on Lap of Luxury, I feel like neither of these albums have any heart whatsoever.
Well,
there's no imagination.
Mm-hmm.
There's no creativity. There's honestly not any songs on here that are even worth me mentioning, because everything's pretty much the same. It's just shitty mid-tempo rockers and
mediocre songwriting. Yeah.
Horrible Journey light ballads that sounds like they were trying to be inspired from like Michael Bolton or some ass clown like that. Like it's so bad, dude. This is
Well, it's the continuation of Lap of Luxury because you've got like, well, for instance, of course, we've got Black and Blue. What an opener. That song's horrible. I don't even want to talk about it.
it's
I
so
can't
bad.
understand it. No, whenever I would wait a minute, I can't understand it is the song that's got the shout vocals. What do they call that? The when people
Gang vocals.
sing vocals.
I hate that
I
stuff
hate
so
that. And
much.
I didn't like that on Aerosmith either when we did the Aerosmith
No,
show.
it's bad with oh yeah.
Yeah, so I can't understand it's horrible, but it was written by Robin Zander and Rick Nielsen, so that is good. You got Diane Warren, Whenever I Would Be, which is the Flame. Basically want to do another Flame hit, right?
The best track on the album and it's still shit.
No, the
Just
best track on the album, I think, is Had to Make You Mine, because it's very Beatlesque.
that
It's
one's
catchy.
okay.
That one's the only good song on the record, I think. And I
I
don't
think
mind
it
Rock and Roll Tonight, which is a cover of Roy Wood and Wizard. But none of the like Had to Make You Mine or Rock and Roll Tonight do not even fit on the record. You know what I
no,
mean?
and that's my problem with them. It's like I think they're decent enough songs, but I think with everything else they're surrounded by on the album, I feel cynical about them still
Hmm.
because I feel like even though I think they're okay songs, I think that most of the stuff on the album is okay songs, but I think that's the problem. I think my issue with this album is it's completely the bare minimum. Like obviously Robin Zander could sing, they could do pretty
He's the
cool.
best
They
thing on
could
the record, Ryan, is Robin Zander.
he's also the worst at times.
How do you
Because
feel?
I
How do
have
you how?
there's times where his voice really hits,
Hmm.
and then there's times where he starts trying to do that shouty, shitty Roger Daltrey type of stuff, and it
Hmm.
sounds stupid. And I think the production on his voice isn't the best on here either. I think the whole production as a whole is god awful. It's just completely mid range and bland. There's no separation of
Richie
instruments.
Zito. I hate Richie
Yeah,
Zito.
it's so bad. It's literally one of the most lifeless albums. I mean, this is like when they talk about like people selling their soul to the devil, and I'm not even trying to like bring religion into this because like why? But like just like that metaphor as a whole, like that's what this album feels like. It feels like they sold their soul to get a hit album, and then the devil fucked them over. Said,
Yeah, but
"Haha,
Ryan,
I'm gonna give you a shit album."
they sold their soul on Lap of Luxury. They really sold their soul on the Doctor. I mean, there are some things on Standing on the Edge that tonight it's you. You have to admit there's
I
some
think
stuff
that
on Standing on the Edge that's good.
I think that yeah, Standing on the Edge, I'm kind of okay with. The Doctor, I think, has moments on it that's okay, but it's mostly crap.
Hmm.
Lap of Luxury,
Hmm.
crap.
Crap.
But it's like they sold their soul. I feel like they're one of the most. I feel like anytime they've ever had any burst of fame, ever since the late 70s, they were just purely lucky. I don't think there's anything that they've done since the late 70s that's really like out of this world. To be completely honest, like The Flame's a good song, but
Hmm.
it's a run of the mill radio hit. There's nothing special about
Well,
it.
there's no soul to it. It's very cold sounding. The production's not okay. Put it like this, Ryan. This could be any band playing on this.
Yes, it's
It's
boring. Like
homogenized, pasteurized. You'd never you I can't even hear Rick Nielsen playing guitar. It doesn't sound like Rick Nielsen. Every now and then, Ryan, I hear Tom Peterson poke through. And I
yeah,
think
I
it's
mean,
Tom Peterson, but Bunny is very reserved. Everything's just very there's no cheap trick on here.
no, it's like
Listen to this. Nick says, I wish Ryan wouldn't sugarcoat it. You don't have to worry
I
about
mean,
that, Nick.
people talk about like people always complain these days about AI
Hmm.
music. I feel like this was like a precursor because this just doesn't actually feel like humans made this album. It just feels so dead.
Well, don't forget a lot of outside writers. And if you look at most of the songwriting credits, it's look, D says give the guys a break.
No, they suck on
The
this
Cheap Trick
album.
doesn't suck. These
On
records
this
suck
album,
because
they
of the
do.
whole Electra taking over the band. It's the same thing with Heart, Capitol taking over and
Art
putting all those crappy records out. But
lost everything that their name was.
right.
Aerosmith is one of the few bands that was able to make it work. And I'm
Yes.
not even going to start talking about them because we did that for like
We already did that
50
show.
hours.
Mhm.
But like,
60 hours worth.
but like, not one of those examples. This sucks. Honestly, I'm going to give it a 0 out of 10 because
Holy crap. I can't
I
get with
don't
that.
I don't think there's any redeeming factor to this album. I think it's a whole waste of my time. It was honestly, it took me like 4 times of trying to get through this album to even make it through the whole time. It's like, it's a piece of shit because there's nothing interesting about it. I mean, they could play their instruments, they could sing
Mhm.
their songs, but
Sure.
they might as well be singing about grass growing because it's probably be more exciting to me. Like, this is nothing. It's the bare minimum, and that's why I'm going to give them the bare minimum score, 0.
Wow. Wow. Now I won't give them that low because uh it does have their version of Rock and Roll Tonight, which is a Wizard cover. And even though it does sound fairly sterile, you know, the thing about those Jack Douglas and those Tom Werman production is that they had some grit. They had personality. This is sterile. This is like we're recording a record in the operating room. It's everybody's got rubber gloves on. Everybody's, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's no soul to anything. The only time it sounds like a Cheap Trick record, other than maybe when Robin sings, but Robin's singing over just tracks. It could be anybody playing them. There's
it's like
nothing on
Mike.
here that sounds like Cheap Trick. Rock and Roll Tonight sounds like Cheap Trick in a sterile environment, and Had to Make You Mine is the best song on the record. That's the only thing on here that really sounds like a Cheap Trick song to me.
Yeah, it just bugs me at the only time they could sound like themselves is when they're sounding like other people.
But
You know what I'm
Rock
saying?
and Roll
Like,
Tonight's no different than California Man or when they do Brontosaurus on the '97 record. They had a
cover
bonus
of
CD
another.
with Brontosaurus on there. But they always like to do Roy Wood songs or Move songs, so that fits right in. But Rock and Roll
Fine.
Tonight and Had to Make You Mine do not fit on the record at all. It's like, well, we've got these other tracks, let's just throw them on, and
I guess
whatever.
that's why for me, and like I see where you're coming from for sure, and I get it too. I guess for me, the fact that they don't fit on the album makes it hard for me to add points because they're there.
Mhm.
Because I think it's another thing that's showing a flaw of the album that they have outlier tracks. But I mean, they're not bad tracks. I Had to Make You Mine's like a solid run of the
No,
mill
I
Beatles
mean,
type of track.
I get what they're trying to do.
I can move my score up to a 1 out of 10. That's the
This,
most I'll go for them, though.
this is the thing that I don't understand. And maybe someone in the chat can explain it. We know how great, and I mean great, a songwriter Rick Nielsen is. Phenomenal. And they used to complain like, oh, around all shook up that, you know, he's running out of songs. Maybe he says, but the guy is brilliant songwriter. You would think, well, they do have glimmers. I don't know. Maybe he did run out of songs. I don't know.
It's just a racket. It's
You,
just a way for people to make money, the music industry. I mean, they got to keep hiring people. They need people. They need songwriters to have songs to write. They need people to play music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all a business.
Oh,
They
well,
need,
yeah, of
yeah, it's
course.
just, and this album to me is just complete bullshit. That's why it means nothing to me. It's not art. It's just
Well, this is just
pure,
product.
yeah, it's nothing.
Right. Well, it is that era. And, a lot of these legacy bands, they were a 70s band. A lot of those 70s bands, and we've talked about it before, Ryan, couldn't make that move into the 80s at all.
Yeah.
And they sell their souls to the devil. And Aerosmith's the only one that I would say that, handled it with grace. And I mean, because those records, if you don't like them, you don't like them, but they're not bad records at all.
No, they're honestly, I would say, at least Pump, or yeah, Pump at least is a great record.
Mm-hmm.
I would beg to differ on the other two. Like, I think I like them a lot, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
this is like, I agree with DC. This is like a contractual thing. They were done. Epic
yeah,
was done with them. They didn't want them anymore. I mean, the best thing. I mean, if you we're gonna cover "Woke Up with a Monster" next, which I think's a much better improvement. At least they
oh, for
sound like
sure.
Cheap Trick on there, and they
Yeah,
keep getting better. If you listen to Rockford, that record is absolutely brilliant. The '97 album,
oh, yeah.
brilliant. They had
Yeah,
to get out from that control of Epic. It
yeah.
was just horrible.
No, definitely. This was just a really grim time for them.
Oh, this is great. Nick is on fire. Mr. Zito's production credits from the mid 80s on reads like a Hall of Fame of garage albums. I hate Richie Zito. I'm sure he's a nice fella, but please stay away from Cheap Trick. Please.
Just stay
I
away
love
from
Cheap
all
Trick.
music.
Please, Tom Warman, couldn't you freaking come? Didn't anybody go to the band and go, you know what? Oh my God, that time when we had Jack Douglas produce and those 1980 demos that Jack Douglas produced, which are absolutely brilliant, those 1980 demos should all come out as a record. It would be as good as anything that they did in the 70s. Put all that stuff out, Cheap Trick. If you're listening to us, will you put that out as an album? God, but if we could have got Jack Douglas back to finish the job as opposed to when he abandoned Standing on the Edge, I think Standing on the Edge would have been a great record. If you look at the I'm on a rant. I love it. If you look at Jack Douglas's mix of Little Sister that's on that comp, the Real Gone comp, it's totally different than what they did on Standing on the Edge. If you would have had Jack Douglas in there to finish the job, things might have been way different, because I don't think because they wanted to, Standing on the Edge, we talked about it. They wanted to make an album like they used to,
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Yeah.
I hate it when these companies get involved in these artists, because I know Standing on the Edge could be a great record if it wasn't so futzed with,
Yeah.
But same with this. Maybe there's probably songs in here. I would have loved to see what Tom Warman could have done with the material, or Jack Douglas, someone that knows how to produce them.
I don't know, honestly.
Well, maybe not, but it'd be interesting to hear, right?
I feel like all these choruses are so bland. I feel like they're like Foreigner Light. Like, this is just for me like the lowest common denominator of like pop music at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was the great pop music of that time, and then there's this shit that like a million people did, and then it went in the cutout bins, and like no one cared about it again. That's like, I feel like that's the level of what this material is, like,
Yeah.
in terms of the songs. But I could be wrong, and I know I'm a little more vicious than usual, but this album is just so
I'm going to have to pop this
unimaginative.
back up again. Don't sugarcoat it, Ryan.
Oh, I don't plan on it. These guys piss me off on these albums.
I know. I mean, there are nice that had to make you mine. I think's brilliant, but it's the only thing on it. But it doesn't even fit on the record. I don't know.
Yeah.
It upsets me because I love the band, and I was listening to this stuff, going, "What in the hell is happening? Why can't we have
Yeah.
another Heaven Tonight? Why can't we have another Dream Police, for crying out loud? Why?
Yeah.
What's the problem?"
True.
Aerosmith's money they receive for their movie tracks can add a little creative fire to the rest of the tracks. Cheap Trick didn't have that incentive.
They should have wrote better songs.
Well, if you look at the tracks that they did for movies, a lot of them were a lot better than what they were doing on albums.
True.
The song to Spring Break, only what was that, 81? I mean, they were putting out soundtrack songs that were all right.
I mean, they were putting out okay album tracks in 81.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, the point where they kind of started to get boring was One on One.
Well,
I feel like
well, yeah, one-on-one's where it started, but
it's boring. I can't tell you one track off of that album, and we did an episode on it. Like, thinking about it now, it's
She's
like,
Tights on there.
eh.
Listen to Ryan today, folks. Ryan is in a mood.
I just
But I
think
do like
about,
One-on-One and Next Position, Please, but it's not what it was.
I think no, they're pleasant albums. It's just they were doing more than pleasant albums at one point, and then that's all they became was pleasant albums, and then they became unpleasant albums, and then they got back to being good again, and we'll get there soon.
God, but Woke Up with the Monsters much better. I don't have an issue with that record.
No, it's cool.
Ted Templeman, I think, did a good. Well, we'll leave that for the next time.
Yeah.
But like I said, I only like 2 songs on here. I don't like all the commercial candy-coated crap. I like Cheap Trick, Beatlesque, The Move with their British influences.
Yeah.
That's just what they do.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, Byron, you just realized this was happening. Where have you been, Byron, for God's sakes? Rich, the self-titled Red Ant release kind of made up somewhat for this horror. Yeah, we're going to go through the rest of them, Rich.
Oh, we're doing it all.
I can hardly wait to get off of these records.
No, this has honestly been extremely hard listening to like the last 4 or 5 albums. It's been pretty painful. I'm excited to revisit some of this later stuff.
The Red Ant album's next.
Definitely.
But yeah, I saw him on that tour. That's where I saw him play on a flatbed semi truck bed at this place called the Billiard Club, and it was free. And they were just on the back of a flatbed.
Yeah,
there was hardly anybody there. It was weird, but they were great.
Hey, I mean, they bring it. I mean, I just saw them less than a year ago, and they brought it.
Well, yeah, they're a great live band.
Definitely. I think that's where they shine most.
Right. I agree 100%. But this album does not shine.
No.
I would probably give it, you give it zero. Wait a minute. You said you're going to maybe give it something a little higher. What were you going to say?
If I'm going to be fair to the album, I'll give it a 1 out of 10. But yeah.
Byron likes this record. He doesn't. Well, do you like it or do you not dislike it? What do you mean, Byron? What would you rate it? And anybody in the chat, tell us what you'd rate this record. Are you doing Woke Up? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We're going to do that. I'm sorry. I skipped. I was jumping to the Red Ant album. We're going to do Woke Up with a Monster next. So that album's okay. It's the most horrid album cover of the 90s.
Yeah, what the hell?
And they didn't use the logo on it, and they used that crappy font. We'll talk about that when we get to it, but
yeah.
I don't think that the album cover design especially said, "Hey, buy me." You know what I mean?
No.
You could have had the best Cheap Trick album on the planet, but the record with that hideous clown cover?
Yeah, hey, do you like atrocities committed to clowns? Like,
Holy crap. Well, D gives it a 3. Okay, that's fair.
I can respect that. What did you say, Grant?
I'm going to give it a. I do think Had to Make You Mine's brilliant, but it can't save the whole record. And Rock and Roll Tonight's a cover. It's a fine cover. I guess I give it a 2 out of
Nice.
10. I can't. It's really painful to listen
It's
to.
it's bad, dude, and it's like long too. It's like 46 minutes.
Hmm.
If it was like a 30-minute album, I probably would raise it a couple points.
I
It's
don't think
just so damn long for such shitty material.
that's what I was thinking too. Because when I was listening to it, I thought, "Oh my God, there's another song." Oh God,
Like
is it over? Because I knew Heart Had to Make You Mine was at the end, and I said, "God, we're not even there yet."
this is like the kind of album you put on for someone while they're in an interrogation room or something. Like it's so brutal, man. It's painful.
Well, DC says hard to berate groups and artists you love, but most everyone has low points in decades long career. Of course, this is a low point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
But
bad.
you can look at XTC DC's never put out a bad record. I think they constantly improved. Not everybody. I think Cheap Trick could have been different had they kept. I don't have any problem with All Shook Up, but I just thought maybe in the long career that they had, that maybe someone would go, you know what? God, maybe we should have Tom Werman back just because he produced our best records. But I don't,
I
that
did
never happened.
honestly, and this is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but it's the opinion that I have.
Okay.
To be honest, I think if it
Go
was
on.
me,
Yeah.
if it was me, I would have kept their discography to maybe like 7 or 8 albums and then
Mm-hmm.
really milked live shows.
Mm.
Just become completely a touring band. I think that's what they did best. I think that their type of music is just a limited genre of music. Like it's like British
Well, I
Invasion
mean,
power pop essentially. Like how many times can you do that album without it like starting to kind of run into each other? Like it's just not like a super it's not a super they don't have a whole lot of gimmicks. They kind of have like two, a lot of guitars
mhm.
and then kind of sounding like British Invasion bands and
Yeah,
having
well,
really talented songwriters, but
right.
it's not like it's not like the Cars where yes, they make these power pop songs, but they also have a lot of really cool synths. They have um you know, I guess just kind of a bit more going on for them. Or look at like a band like Aerosmith. We could do blues rock, we could do hard rock, we could
Hmm.
do like ballads. We got all this different stuff. Cheap Trick at their finest kind of had like two different sounds or two or three different sounds.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's kind of like ACDC.
Well, ACT.
They're kind of similar,
Well,
honestly.
yeah. Well, Cheap Trick's more advanced than ACTs.
Oh,
ACDC, you have to give it to them. They knew what they were good at,
they're
and they
definitely
just did the
better.
same record over and over again.
I guess like Cheap Trick has more songwriting
Uh
talent,
huh.
but I think kind of what I'm saying is they kind of it's similar situations.
All right. So Byron gives it a 5 or a 6. Wow. I can't see that. Ernesto's late. We tried to hold the show for you, Ernesto, but for God's sakes, man. DC gives it a 3. That's fair. The clown cover is awful. I'm anti-clown. Oh, Cheap Trick is a 10 as a band. Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Oh, they're terrific at
They're
what they did.
terrific. Agree Ecstasy Escape, all inspired, but they run on a different level. I mean, they're.
Well, they did a lot of different stuff. That's kind of what
Mhm.
I'm saying.
Can we see your belly next, Ryan?
Oh,
No, don't show your belly.
you don't like my shorts?
D doesn't evidently like your shorts. Oh, XTC. Oh, Rich. XTC just got better. Unfortunately, their label Virgin. Well, they did. Ryan seems. Have you been? Were you partying last night?
Nope. I'm just
Okay.
chilling. I'm just chilling. I'm just cozy
He's
here
getting ready
talking
to
about.
produce music, kids.
Yeah.
He just got up. Maybe took a
No,
nap.
I just got home from work pretty
There you go.
recently. Yeah, it
They're
was a
all
long
concerned
day.
about you, Ryan. They're concerned.
No need. I'm all good.
He's good, kids. Just got home from work, for God's sakes. So anyway, I give it a 2. You give it a 1. No one in the chat seems to like this record. One
I
great
don't know what
song.
there is to like, honestly.
Yeah. Well, we
I
had to
guess, a
cover it.
problem. I guess that's the problem. Like, there's a lot of albums where they alienate people,
Mhm.
and like, there's some people who will really see greatness. I would be really surprised to find someone who thinks this is a terrific album. And I would heavily question their I would heavily question their taste if they thought this is a great album.
I don't. Well, I would too. I just don't think that they had any control over anything anymore.
No,
But you would have
it's
thought, though. I'm just going to throw this out. Flame was a big hit. And then they
yeah.
did, what was the other, the Hound Dog or whatever? I don't know what they did on Lap of Luxury, but they had a couple of hits on there.
Oh, they did Don't
You
Be
would have thought that
Cruel,
they'd
didn't
have a
they?
little bit more power, but I
Yeah.
guess not. Probably because it was outside songwriting that were the hits that they were doomed, you know?
I think they just wanted to turn Cheap Trick into like Michael Bolton or like Brian Adams or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
Nick, never heard the whole thing as I couldn't get beyond that atrocious single. I know, I get it. It's just not them. It's just, but Robin can sing anything and sound good, but it doesn't sound like Cheap Trick. That's the problem I have. And it's just very sterile. And it still sounds 80s too. Because, we're in 1990, Ryan. 80s kept going for a couple years after. And yeah, like,
There's nothing wrong with being 80s if the producer you have producing is good.
mhm,
Good 80s productions are pretty awesome. Also with the right band.
right.
Like all the new wave stuff, it's fantastic.
Oh, like Thompson Twins is great. Duran Duran stuff. There's a lot, Culture Club sounded great.
Madonna.
Madonna sounded good.
There's a lot of great 80s stuff. This is just the bottom of the barrel that was getting produced by some ass clown that didn't know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a mistake of a production. It's so boring.
Really, this record on a positive note, this is the most affordable original Cheap Trick vinyl. I've got one on vinyl. It was like 1990, man. They were winding up. 91 was when they quit. They shut down all the presses pretty much.
I'm kind of surprised it would be a affordable one. I can't really imagine this
I
sold too
can't
many
imagine it'd
albums.
be. Are you saying, Rich, that in Australia it's affordable? I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't imagine. I've only seen it on vinyl once.
Yeah, I can't really imagine this having sold too many albums. Like
Well,
it
look it up
was
real quick.
48 on the charts. It certified gold. So it sold, that's in Canada. That's 50,000
Well, there's
albums.
10 of them on Discogs. Well, they're not cheap. So, Rich, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
He
Here's
must
one
have
for
been joking.
$50.
He
Mine's
might have
still in
been
the shrink.
he might have been joking,
Maybe.
honestly. Yeah, because I feel like I always see like that album the Todd Rundgren one.
Uh, Next
Next
position.
Position,
Uh-huh.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
That one I always see really cheap, like $5.
I think Byron likes the Doctor. I I don't know. After listening to this today, I might think the Doctor might be a little bit better.
Oh, I definitely think the Doctor is better than this. The Doctor is shit, but it's like
It's bad. It's
it's
shit too, but
this is that shit. This is diarrhea. Like like
I was gonna
like
pull my busted vinyl, but I forgot. Man, I should have got it
yeah.
because no one wants it. That's well, the ones here in the States, it's $50, and there's hardly any up there. There's some in other countries, but I'm talking an original US pressing because this record didn't sell for crap. I've
Yeah.
never even saw one until I found my used one in shrink and I bought it. I think it was like $5, but I've never ever seen it again.
Yeah.
We
I would
Canadians
never
know our music. Well, there you go, of course.
never purchase this album.
Well, kids, I'm looking forward to doing Waking Up with the Monster
Oh,
because
me too. That's
oh
gonna be
yeah,
great.
please give a thumbs up. We didn't mean to be too harsh, but come on, everybody in the Cheap Trick community knows this was pretty much the low point.
Oh
And we
yeah,
know what comes next. They get all inspired, and we're going to be talking about some great records coming up. So
definitely.
I just think at this time, Epic was done. I think they sound tired. Well, I don't even know what they sound like because it doesn't sound like Cheap Trick to me. So, but you know what I mean. It was promoted big up in Canada. Really?
Huh,
I don't remember much. I don't remember
man.
anything here, you
Uh,
know.
yeah, I don't know about that.
Damn. You're doing like stuff like Rand does. You're kind of scare me, Ryan.
Dude, it's those synthesizers.
You're you and Rand and the synths and what is happening with you? But
Well,
anyway, it was promoted big in Canada. All right. Well, all right. Well, I don't think we have much. Oh, gee, there were heaps down here lying around in bins. DC's getting nauseous. He's quit moving it. Man, they're jumping on you today, Ryan.
yeah,
All right. Well, I think we covered it. Ryan's giving it a 1. I'm giving it a 2. It is what it is.
that makes a 1.5.
But it makes a 1.5. And then everybody, I think, well, like Byron gave it a 5 or 6. So I don't know what.
Like a 2.
Yeah, I don't understand what he's listening to. He must be talking about the wrong record. But what do I know? All right, boy. Well, let's Ryan. I think we can wrap this one up.
Sounds good.
I more. But we've talked. I mean, what more can we say about it?
I have nothing else to say about this album.
Yeah. So anyway, next month, well, I don't know. I'll send some dates out. We will be talking "Woke Up with a Monster," and
Yes.
it's much improved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
We're back to music on that album.
we're back to music, so there is hope. But all right, well, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on. It's been fun. It's always fun to talk Cheap Trick, even if it's bad Cheap Trick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was
Absolutely.
just thinking, just looking at that. Byron likes the Class Clown. Oh, all right. But the album covers. Oh God, I'm really done talking about Busted. All right, Ryan. Well, let's wrap this dog up. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Please give us your rating on what you think this album is. But all the Cheap Trick fans know we're at the bottom. It's not anything that's
Up for
everybody
debate.
knows. Yeah, it's not up for debate at this point.
It's not
What's
a
going to be
debate I'd
fun
want
is
to have.
about talking about the band and the stuff once they can get out from under that corporate umbrella. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. It's gonna be great. I mean, I think they fit right in with a lot of like the, I guess, like alternative bands of that time.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll talk about it. But
We will
yeah,
talk about it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and leaving a comment. And Ryan and I will see you on the next one. So everybody have a good evening, and just woke up with a monster soon. All right, cool. All right, everybody. We'll see you. Have a good night.